Alright, this is just an update on where I am with my phones. If anyone's watched videos on my channel, they know I haven't made a video for a long time. I got into them when I was into Windows phones. I thought I'll do reviews. I did really long discussions about the phone. And had the Lumia 800, 920, 950 and so on. That was all great. Enjoyed those. And then Microsoft threw the whole thing under the bus, and so I had to switch. I switched to a Huawei P30 Pro. I like this phone a lot. I use it with the Windows style interface, which I like a lot. Can't stand the Android UI, just can't stand it. But this is good. I'm really happy with that. You know, you get all this kind of thing. So that's great. That's been good for about, I don't know, 2 or 3 years. I was sort of thinking about another phone, and then yesterday, somehow, somewhere, I don't even know where, dropped it, smashed it, and it's cracked all over the phone, all the way up here. The whole phone's smashed up. Still works. I put a screen protector on it just to hold it together so I don't get any splinters in my fingers. But that's very disappointing. It was in a case. It was actually in this flip case, which I really like. Get out. It was in here when it happened. And like that, but somehow it just caught the edge of that screen, and that was the end of it. Something caught it, and then I noticed it a few hours later. It was broken. Won't ramble on about that too much. The main point is I had to make a decision. Do I try and fix the screen? I had a look. $400, my dollars, New Zealand dollars or so, for a replacement screen, plus the job of doing it, plus the fact that I've done it before and wasn't very satisfied because the screens aren't new. They tell you they're new. They're not new. They're all from refurbished and junk phones. And I wasn't very happy with the result on my Nokia, it was my Nokia. And plus you have to cut open all of this. I was like, forget it. I looked at getting another one of these because you can get a second-hand but brand new one for about $700 or $800, my dollars of course, so that's not that much in US dollars. That certainly was an option, but then I'd be locking myself into this device for however many years, and I was sort of getting to the point where I was like, wouldn't mind something new, wouldn't mind getting, you know, the latest and greatest. And so I had a look around. Obviously the P40 Pro has been available for a while, but that doesn't have the Google services, and to me that's a total fail. I'm not interested in that. Got to have all the Google garbage on it. And so sadly the P40 Pro is not on the list. What else was on the list? Well, Samsung. I mean, that's it. You buy a Samsung, don't you, when you get an Android? And so I go online, I look up what's available, and the thing to get is this thing, Samsung S21 Ultra 5G, this thing here. And, you know, there's different ranges of these S21s. Obviously, you're looking at, you know, because I always buy my phone for the camera, if you would know from my videos, that's what I'm doing. This has the ultimate camera on their phone, so that's the one I'm looking at. And it does resolve one of the issues I have with the camera on this, is this had the 10 times optical lens. And otherwise it's got a wide angle, you know, which is more like a 28 or a 25 millimeter equivalent. And then it's got the super wide, which is like a 16 millimeter equivalent. I promise I will put up a video with my assessment of that camera. Someone asked on one of the last videos if I would do that. I did start that at the time when I got it. I started extensive tests and did everything. And it got so complex and messy that I gave up on it. I kept thinking I'll do it. And then when I had to look at it again at my folder, it was like, what was I even doing? You know, what was I going to point out in this comparison and that comparison, blah, blah, blah. It was just too much to deal with. So I gave up on that, but I still have the folder and the images are in it. And so what I'm going to do after this is I'll just go through those and show what I've got, show what just say what I remember from the time and forget about the rest. but it'll just be my assessment of the camera on the P30 Pro, which is a bit late, but still should be of interest. But moving on to this phone and this camera on the Samsung. Now, the thing that the P30 Pro had that was not so great was the 10 times optical, which is quite nice. It worked. It was good. How often are you out using your 10 times optical? Which is probably what, I can't remember what the equivalent was, 250 tele? Something like that. Don't think it was 135. It was quite long, but you know, it's not like 10 times on a 35mm camera. It's more like 3 times or something, but too long. Too long for portraiture, too long for landscape. Maybe good for sports, but you know, you can't be doing that. It doesn't work. What you really want, my wife got a P30 with the 3 times optical, and that's a better choice for a camera like this. You want the super wide, the wide, and the short tele. You know, something like the equivalent of a 70 or 80 millimeter lens on a 35mm camera. That's what you really want. This one here has the 10 times optical, I think, somewhere in here. Shades of ultra, easy on the eyes, fantastic screen. I've only been looking at this since last night. I had a quick look at what's available. So what have we got here? 12 megapixel ultra wide. That'll be I don't know, somewhere 13, 14, 15 millimeter probably equivalent. Still only 10 or 12 megapixel. That's a disappointment with all of these Androids. They're all like that. They top out at about that amount. This 108 megapixel doesn't really mean anything. I mean, it's on the wide. I don't know. I'm interested to see how it works. On the Huawei, of course, we had the 40 megapixel, but the number of times I used that was almost nil, apart from those tests that I'm going to talk about later. I used it there, but otherwise you don't use it because you have to go into that mode. You lose all this functionality when you go into that mode. You can't go to 16:9, and even worse, I'll talk about that later. There's some issues I have with that camera. So this has that 108 megapixel super wide, whatever, 10 megapixel telephoto cameras, and there's 2 of them. I believe one's a 3 times and one's a 10 times. Which is fine. So in that way I get the 2. I get the 3 times. I get that portrait sort of thing that I want. Plus I get the 10 times, you know, the tele. And they advertise this thing where they're zooming in seamlessly. I'm going to be wanting to check that out, of course, because as it goes from the wide to the 3 times to the 10 times, you know, the phone lets you use a zoom or a pinch or whatever to do that, but how it transitions from one lens to the other and at what distance matters a lot. A real lot, heaps. And again, that was a problem I'll bring up later with the P30. So I'll be interested to see how this works and whether it uses this 108 megapixel camera sensor for these zooms and for the continuous pinch zoom, whether it does that smoothly or if there's big jump points or what. I don't know. We'll find out. I didn't have enough time to get into it in that much detail. So Blur Studio, mono, blah, 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 effects and garbage. What else are we looking at? We call it Ultra. Fastest chip. Okay, all the other stuff. So this video here, I'm setting up my account. I went down to the shop. They gave me a great deal on, you know, all this stuff. If I switch my phone plan to another company, which is basically the same, they'll give me $400 off. Okay. Plus it was already on sale for about $300 off compared with the other shops around town. And all I have to do is use their plan for 6 months. But, you know, I don't mind staying on the plan. It's similar enough to my current plan. That's fine. So, and I keep my number, of course. That's what I'm setting up. You see, I came home to set up my number, fill out all the stuff to get my number transferred to this. And it goes, oh, you have to verify your number. So that meant I got to open this up, put the card in it, and make all that happen. Well, I was going to do a sort of an unboxing and have a look at the phone with you guys. And so I stopped that whole process, set this up here with my camera and my OBS. I'm quite happy with how this works. I've been doing this for my gaming. I've got a Hero 9, one of those GoPro Hero 9s. And if you haven't figured out that I ramble on in my videos and you don't want to listen, there's plenty of people who did 5-minute Samsung videos months ago. So I've got my Hero 9 sitting up here, clamped on my screen, and it works well. Works better than any of the webcams I've used. It's only at 1080p, but I'm recording my desktop here at 4K. So I think when I go full screen with the GoPro, the resolution is not as high as, say, this browser is. This browser is zoomed into 300% as well on a 4K screen. So I'm dancing around with all that drama. In any case, back to this, I'm going to do this unboxing and just look at it. Now, being aware that I stopped following phones after I got the P30 Pro because I was happy with the P30 Pro. Couldn't waste my time out looking at other phones, and I didn't. For quite a while. I was aware of all the Samsungs, the 10s and the 20s and the whatever going through the sites and so on. I'm back a couple of years ago. I did have a couple of looks at camera comparisons. Didn't really see anything that was significant, and so I didn't really, perfectly happy with the P30. Now, so this is the Galaxy S21 Ultra 5G. It's the top of the line one. It's got dual SIMs. I understand it's got the Exynos processor for my country, and that in the States I believe it has the Snapdragon. As part of my quick research last night, I read somewhere on some forums. I just took a shot and I went, okay, what about a Galaxy Ultra 5G S21 DJI compatibility? Because these are the kinds of things that yet you don't find out until you've bought the devices and you stick it all together, and then you find out that you're the one who has the phone with the model of phone that has some problem. Surprising how often that happens. And so I looked that up, and sure enough, from what I understand, if you have the Exynos CPU, yes, there's a problem with the latest gimbal, the DJI gimbal or something like that. I suppose they're going to fix it eventually. Who knows? So that kind of thing's a problem. I didn't sort of go, oh, well, whatever, I won't get it because of that. I'm not planning on using a gimbal. I use my GoPro, which has excellent stabilization, really good stabilization. So I use that for stuff I do on my motorbike and other work in the garage. So I'm not worried about doing that on the phone. I'm not going to run around with the phone on a stick like this. Plus, the stabilization that I saw on some of the tests was excellent on this. A bit like the GoPro. It's so good that the gimbal thing doesn't really matter. Here we go. Unboxing. It's black, of course. I only saw black and silver. Silver was quite attractive. But I always go with black. At least it wasn't all champagne and peach and mauve and funny colors like that. I also noticed that in the shop, I wasn't that crazy about this. It's so big and heavy. Oh my God. That's a big and heavy phone. Oh my God. I mean, the screen, it said 6.8, and so I sat down with a ruler on my P30, and this was about 6.4 or something. Not that much different. Not that. This phone, you can never get it to just switch off and stay that way. Sorry, this one. It's always on. The Huawei. It always sees you out of the corner of its eye, and then it switches on. It is thicker. Definitely thicker. I suppose this is pretty substantial feeling, but this just immediately feels bigger and heavier, and that big, huge camera there. I'm not crazy about that at all, these huge bumps, but, if we get a great camera, sure, I'll put up with that. Not a problem. This one was all recessed pretty much, nearly flush. That was nice, and I kept it in a case, of course, that meant it was recessed. So I was very happy with that. That worked out well. This is the black, which is this kind of chrome black, quite neat, but it's a fingerprint magnet. I mean, it's no use. This one here is a bit more, it's got a thing on it. It's got a peel-off thing. There's a peel-off thing on the back, a peel-off thing there on the cameras, and a peel-off on the front. I wish that was just a screen protector, then I'd leave it on there. Gonna be leaving it on. I think I'll leave all that stuff on for now. So that's my comment about the hardware. Heavy. My fingers aren't very long. I always have trouble reaching across. I liked the original Windows Mobile way back in the day. That was the best for use. The Androids are all, everything's up top. It's like the Apples, you know, everything's up the top. Not everything, but half your stuff is always up the top. It's so far out of reach that it's, you know, it doesn't matter how big the phone is, it's out of reach no matter what. What else? Let's have a look. Let me just flick these on. I don't even know what we've got. See, I did so little research. I don't know what the speakers are. I don't know what the microphone situation is, but it's got little holes all over it. There's the SIM card slot. I'm going to put that in. Obviously, that's USB-C, I assume. There's a speaker thingy. And there's nothing on the top. There's a couple of holes. And it looks like there's actually a sticky thing around the outside as well. Yes. So it's well protected. Let's pop the SIM in and see what happens. Let's see what else is in the box. It's an unboxing after all. Ooh. You know what it's like? The guy said, oh, he said, you know, Samsung now has slim packaging. Ooh, slim packaging. Ooh, it's very slim. It doesn't refer to that. It refers to the fact that there's nothing in the box. No charger. That's a joke. No charger. But thankfully I bought a Huawei P30 Pro, which came with a fast charger, which is excellent. The P30 Pro had the best battery life ever, and I swore the next phone I buy is going to have the same battery life. Well, this has got the P30, I think 4200 milliamp hour battery. This has a 5000, although the screen and everything is going to use a lot more. Should give me similar battery life, similar fast charge and everything, so I'm counting on that being just as good as the Huawei. And we have a lead, which I don't really need. And is there a thing to open the SIM card slot? No. Is it stuck to something? No. Where's that? Installing a car, a single SIM card tray. So it's showing me how to remove it using this little device with a pin on it. Did anyone see a little prick thingy with a, not talking about me, see a little pointy device? Ah! There it is. Okay. Get out of there. I mean, to tell you the truth, I don't need it because ever since my first Lumia, I've had my little ejector on my keychain. I have many pokes in my thighs from this little pointer. So that looks longer, but we'll see if this one gets in there. What's it saying? Oh, the fingerprint sensor is way up high. Camera volume, side key, SIM card tray, and socket. Oh, single SIM card tray, dual SIM card tray. I'll probably just put the pointer through the speaker or something. I will take this. It's much longer. And the way it's showing it to me is in this side of the little hole. Okay, that's come up. Well, what did I just poke it into? What's the other hole? I probably did just shove it into the microphone or something. God, wouldn't that be ridiculous? God, wouldn't that be something? Surely they wouldn't design it so that the well, that's a worry. See, there's a little tiny hole for the SIM card thing and a little tiny hole the other side of the same little port. So I went and pushed it in one, and I thought, that's not going anywhere. Went and pushed it in the other, and there it is. Let's see if we can spot on the... Oh, I should have had the big screen on, but whatever. Oh, come on. Copy that damn thing. Hardware. Images. I just want to see, I want a picture showing me what all the holes and everything are. I don't know, I'll check that after. There's old Tecmone, but that's a bit tiny, that picture. Let's go microphone. Sorry, I'm going to zoom in on this. SIM card tray. No, that's the wrong one. There. Doesn't actually say speaker, microphone. Which is the top? That's the top. SIM card tray. Earphone jack. Doesn't have an earphone jack. Speaker, microphone. The charging port's at the bottom. Well, this is hopeless, isn't it? There we go. 1 and 2. What's that picture about? Because that's the two holes right there. Microphone hole. How's that for the dumbest design ever? That's the microphone hole. That's the hole. There. That hole is for the precaution, how to find the slot correctly. The microphone hole is close to the trays hole, so you may misunderstand each position. Making sure that the ejection pin is perpendicular to the trays hole, not microphone's hole. Otherwise, the device may be... You don't say! The device may be damaged. What a joke. Well, we'll find out. We will find out. What an insanity. Okay, let's get back to this. That's disappointing. Very disappointing. So this thing comes in many sizes, I guess. All right, there's three different sizes here on this thing. That size, and then another size down. Okay. And, oh God, which one is it? Does it matter? SIM 2? SIM 1. Well, we'll stick it in SIM 1. Like that. What a nightmare. What an absolute nightmare. Okay. Is there power in it? There we go. Samsung Galaxy powered by Android. What site am I reading this on? This is Samsung. Welcome, start. I don't know how long this is going to take. All I'm trying to do is verify the number, right? So, start, legal items, end user. I've read and agree. Unbelievable. Next. Wonder how many of these they get in for warranty with a microphone not working. Wi-Fi network. I'll do that later. It's just connecting. Can't really see that. Connecting. Don't know what to, but it's connecting. Battery's on 50%. Still connecting. Completely washed out, isn't it? Couldn't connect to the internet. Well, I just said skip. I said skip. Skip. Connecting. Oh my God. Is it really going to keep trying to connect and tell me that it can't connect when I keep saying skip? Now this time it says getting your phone ready. All right, let it carry on with that. Copy apps and data. I'm not going to do all that next. All I'm trying to do is get in and verify my number. Just have a real quick look at the interface here. You can choose to transfer your apps, photos, contacts, Google account, more. Well, don't copy because I'm just want to load up. And then I can just reset the phone and do this all later if it works. Skip signing into my, yep, skip that. Whatever, more, accept. Skip. Skip anyway. That's the fingerprint setup. According to that picture, the fingerprint sensor is quite high up, like about there instead of there. I found the fingerprint sensor on the P30 worked really well. That was constantly, that's all I ever used. Although the thing would watch me and sign me in by looking at me. I hope this does that. Samsung account, definitely skipping that. Skip out on all this. Samsung Cloud Bixby. What are you going to do without Bixby? I mean, what even happens if you install Bixby and then you're trying to, hey Google, your phone. Shut up. Don't piss off.
That's not very nice.
So? See, I don't know. Is Bixby going to take over? Or what does it do? Skip. You're all set up. Finished. Nice picture of colored sand. Search for your new mobile plan. If you've signed up for a new mobile plan, you can search for it and then add it to your phone. I don't know how this works. No plans found. Okay, well, I think I will probably leave this here because I can tell I'm going to get stuck into all this drama. Signing up. Just on the face of it, though, feels heavy, doesn't feel great in the hand, like, you know, like the P30 really feels nice. The P30 is the nearest thing I felt to the old Lumia 800, which was a nice phone to hold. That was the best one of all, because it was smooth and round and small. This one is smooth and round and has very slab-like and quite feels light. Feels nice. This one, and it's got a sort of a sharp edge where that phone is. That camera is. That's a real clunker. But I am right-handed, so generally it'll be out. It'll be out of my way. I'll get used to it. Not really fussed about that. It doesn't feel as metallic as the other phone. It feels like it's hard plastic. Don't know why. Let me pull that off. It's definitely not a fingerprint magnet. It's got this sort of satin finish black, which is quite nice. Still scuzz up a little bit, but not like the other. It feels like that, like the lenses, I'll just pull it off, are recessed. Yes, each one is recessed. This was nice because each lens was behind this flat glass piece up here. That was glass and just flat. And so you could clean that really easily. When you take photos with a phone or a camera even, you need to, especially a phone, because you got your fingers all over these things. You've got to wipe your lens before every shot. Pull it out of your pocket, you have to wipe your lens. And so that was really easy to wipe and keep clean. Even in its case, you know, I would just run my finger on my inside of my t-shirt along the back. After a breathe on it or something, it was always super clean. Here, that's not gonna happen, because each lens protector, that is just a flat bit of glass on the front of each one, is recessed into its own little hole thing. So that's not going to be so easy to deal with. I know they sell things like a glass panel you can cover the whole thing with, but that's potentially messing with the quality. So now that that's off, it's all right. It feels like it looks a black slab. It's the 2001 slab. It's got that kind of look and feel to it. Okay, I will carry on. I will do the Huawei P30 camera assessment probably next, and then after that I will come back to this phone and we'll try and do an assessment of this. All right. Thanks for watching if you got this far. Bye-bye.